Hello, everybody. Welcome. We have Diane here. We have Montague here. We have 7 people watching. I think that's more than I've had for any other uh, live stream for LiveStream Under the Moonshine for this particular visual novel. Welcome, everybody. Want to go ahead and say thank you for tuning in. This part should start pretty interesting with an Octave Higher, guys. Let's go ahead and launch that game. And let's go ahead and try to remember where we left off back on Friday. We remember that we have Lord Frederick, who is kind of he's the son of a main lord. The lord, his father's a lord of a rich town, Overture, and he owns like a factory called Magical Mechanical. This is a very magical town. And Lord Frederick is a guy who plays a magic game called Sorcerer. He got really upset at his father for pitting him up against a woman who, the woman basically, even though she lost the game, she was basically embarrassed him with her magical powers. And this Lord Frederick, teenager, however old, 18, 19, I don't know, doesn't really like Franz very much. Franz is a scholar of magic and probably about the same age, and working hard to try to get funding for studying compassion magic, something that they don't know a whole lot about. The main goal of Franz is to learn how to use compassion magic, something that was normally only be able to use for animals and healing like people and stuff like that. But he wants to try to learn and get funding for learning how to use compassion magic to heal or fix broken, non-living things, such as a broken piano. And then we have Elise, I think it is, a 15-year-old girl who's 3 months from her 16th birthday, living in a brothel for the past 6 years. We found out that tragedy struck her parents. She had nowhere to live, living poorly, and eventually her parents, landlords or whatever, when they left her alone. She had nowhere to turn and ended up living in a brothel after living on the streets for a while. So it definitely makes you feel empathetic for poor Elise, who works in this mana factory, by the way, this Magical Mechanical, where they produce mana and no, they don't produce mana there. They produce magical like magic using like devices and machinery and stuff like that. Anyway, guys, we left off Friday night when Lord Frederick basically used Franz to try to get this Elise girl up to his mansion, his father's mansion, and tried to get him alone in the same room, and immediately tried to say, "Hey, I need you to give me sex." And she basically stormed out. Franz wondered what happened. We really haven't. She really hasn't confided too much to Franz, but Franz ended up finding her downtown and asked her to. Said, she kind of confessed that she lives on the streets. She doesn't want to go back to the brothel. She has nowhere to live, and Franz basically just invited her to live at his house for a while. Now, Franz is a good guy, but even he was starting to get a little bit of the wrong idea right when we left off Friday night, because she came into the bedroom and was looking at the bed and stuff like that. He's like, "Oh my God, she wants to sleep with me," and then she went to sleep on the couch. So I think we left off with Franz waking up in the middle of the night because he couldn't sleep. He has this beautiful Elise girl, a couple years younger than him, I'm assuming, sleeping on the couch, I believe. So we're going to find out what happens with that. And let's go ahead and continue where we left off. All right, let me go ahead and make sure we got the music here. There we go. All right, sounds good, Montague. All right, so if it isn't Zaxter99, the famous Mexican wrestler, I want to go ahead and thank you for the game you sent me, Bad Rats, AJ. I remember you talking about that game months ago, how great it was. So we shall see. I thought you had already sent it to me and I had played it, but maybe I'm thinking of Rusty Foxes or somebody. I don't know. Alright, anyway, thank you for the game. AJ donating a Steam game to me. Bad Rats. We'll find out what that's about. Alright, let's go ahead and continue where we left off Friday night. You guys ready for this? Welcome, everybody. Yep, he said he can't sleep. I think he said he woke up in the middle of the night. And we'll find out why he can't sleep. Ooh, not Monday, but Moonday. Now, we also found out, I believe in the last part, exactly how this these calendar and days work. And it actually makes more sense than it does here on Earth. For example, like December is in... The Deca means 10. And December in this game is like the 10th month, or our October. October, for them, is like the 8th month, which it should be, because Octa means 8. But in this game, everything is as it should be. So for the December is the 10th month, October is the 8th month. So things make actual sense. The AEM stands for basically when their world turned magical. So 313 years after magic was, started being a thing in the world. So the year is, this isn't the time, this is the year. So after everything turned magical in the world, and they have a moon day instead of a Monday. So this is the 8th month, or the 6th month, I'm sorry. And year 313. Oh, okay, that's what it was, AJ. Oh, okay, you sent me a sequel. Have I even played part 1? I was thinking I played one. I was thinking I played one of them. Oh, okay, you sent me the sequel. Gotcha. Yeah, I could have swore I had played that game before, like months ago. Alright guys, let's go ahead and find out why Franz here can't sleep. The morning sunlight rouses me from my sleep. I blink a few times to shake off the drowsiness, but it's not helping. I eventually fell asleep last night, but only after tossing and turning for hours. In the end, I managed to get maybe 4 hours of sleep. Outside my room, I meet Elise, who has just come out of the bathroom, looking energetic and with a usual guiltless smile on her face. After having breakfast, Elise said she always skips breakfast, but I made her eat just in case she decides to run off again. We head outside. I have a feeling that I'm forgetting something important. Oh, he's going to meet Franz's friend, Athena. Or Aretha, sorry, not Athena. Aretha. Aretha is already waiting outside, as she does every morning. But today, she's kind of angry. Oh, that's right. Franz, why did you stand me up last light day? Didn't we promise to go to watch a kinetoscope? Good morning, Aretha. Aretha looks at Elise. Uh-oh, she's going to get jealous. Now, this is just his longtime friend, for anybody that hasn't been watching, but... Uh-oh, hey, aloha, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Uh-oh, is she going to get a little bit jealous of Elise here? They talked about how beautiful this Elise girl is. Elise looks back at her. Huh, confident smile. This is kind of a... Who the F are you look? I mean, it's amazing in this art how you can almost read the expressions, whether it be happy, confident, whatever. And this is kind of a look here drawn perfectly on the face of like, who the F are you? Oh boy, catfight, AJ says. Then she looks back at me. Still confident smile from Elise there. Franz is like, Then back at Elise again. So here she is. She definitely is trying to figure out what's going on. She switches her gaze between Elise and Franz, trying to figure out why Franz stood her up. Their light day, I believe that is Saturday, and that's like our Saturday. And me again. So she keeps looking back and forth between the two of them. Good morning, Aretha. Whoa! Oh my god! Oh my gosh! Aretha suddenly gasps and shouts loudly, covering her mouth with a hand. Uh-oh, yep. Look at this, now she's mad. Franz has become a man. Oh boy, yep. She definitely thinks that they are doing something. How could you, Franz? Hadn't you been saving your first name for my 18th birthday? Uh-oh. No. You hadn't been saving it? I'm not saving it for you. Uh-oh. Ah, this is unbelievable. I took my eyes away from you for a weekend, and look what happened. Oh, Aretha, cut it out. Nothing happened last night. Oh, poor me. I've always been faithful to you, but you, no. Now, all of a sudden, just because this girl's here, I don't know if she's faking it to be sarcastic or if she's actually serious to try to make this girl jealous. I don't know. She is enjoying this, isn't she? Yeah, I think she's toying around. I think she's toying with him. Hey, Titanic's Gamer, welcome back. Good to see you, bud. Aretha eyes Elise again, studying her face. Huh. Same confident smile there. So this is Franz's type, huh? Yeah, she's playing around. Not bad, Franz. Ha 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 ha. As your love advisor, I must say you've done me proud. Okay. I thought she was a little bit jealous there at first, but maybe not. When did she become my love advisor? Oh, Franz, I didn't think you'd be able to make a girl fall. She pauses when her eyes travel downward from Elise's face and catch the sight of her clothes. Uh-oh. Aretha blinks a few times. An M&M factory worker? Hello, I'm Elise Shelley. Hi, Elise. My name is Aretha Blyton. I'm a friend of Franz's from the conservatoire. Nice to meet you, Miss Blyton. Call me Aretha. Nice to meet you, Aretha. Aretha throws me a glance that says, Why is this girl with you? Did you abduct her? No, I didn't. He just responds to her look. Didn't what? Franz says, Elise is helping me with my research. I give Aretha a summary of what has happened between me and Elise since I saw her trying to revive a broken piano at the factory 3 days ago. And that's why I couldn't meet you at the theater on light days, sorry. Wow. Wow, wow, awesome. You're trying to fix a broken piano with magic? Yeah. That's really cool, ha 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 ha. You don't think I'm weird? Not at all. Listen, Elise, if you can manage to fix the piano, it will change the world. Not only will you be filthy rich, your name will also go down in history. Really? Really, really. This is exciting stuff. And Aretha isn't wrong, but that's a really big if right there. Anyway, I turn to Elise. What are you going to do about your living situation? I want to help, but I don't think my parents would approve of me living with a girl under their roof. Yeah, I still don't know what to do, but I'm definitely not going to go back to that maison. Aretha says, You're looking for a place to live? Hey, why don't you just live with me? Huh? You really can't just sleep on the street, you know. Franz may not be savage enough to assault you at night, but there are seriously evil guys out there. But don't worry, I know we just met, but I have a feeling that we'll get along great. Ha 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 ha. But what about my work at the factory? The factory is quite far from the city. The factory? That place is awful, isn't it? You should just quit. No way, I can't be a freeloader at her house. You're helping me with my research, right? In that case, you'll get a salary as a research assistant. Oh, wow. A research assistant? Actually, she's more like a research subject, but never mind. Yes, the salary won't make you rich, but I'm sure it's more than what you'll get from the factory. Ah, I see. Elise begins pondering in silent hesitation. She looks really unsure how to accept the offer. So what do you think, Elise? What do you think? What do you think? Aretha can be like a little girl sometimes. She's like a kid who wants a little sister. What does a research assistant do? Well, in your case, I only need you to cast magic spells. Come on! What do the... I give Aretha a light chop on the head. Ow! She seems to get my message to not disturb Elise while she's thinking. Finally, Elise comes to a decision. Okay, I'll take both your offers. Awesome! Ha 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 ha! Shall we go to my house? My mom will love you! Hey, are you forgetting that we have to go to the conservatoire? Oh, yeah, you're right. Sheesh. Well, now that she has Elise as our new toy, maybe Aretha will stop teasing me so much. Yeah, right. Wishful thinking there, Franz. I'm sorry, Franz. I didn't realize how much you were looking forward to going to the conservatoire with me. Or maybe not. Let's go, Elise. I'm going too? Of course, you're my research assistant, remember? Oh, right. I'm a research assistant, actually. AJ, I'm my own employer. It pays really well. I'm a piano repairman, actually. Oh my god, AJ. We arrived at the conservatoire. Elise tags along behind me, and Aretha, bobbing her head everywhere, occasionally spinning around to get a second look at whatever we walk past. Her eyes wander up, down, left, right, like a kid in an amusement park. Look, what is that? Elise is pointing to a sphere that is floating up and down above the pool of water and moving and spinning in a spiral motion while spraying water around and spreading amplified light of various colors. Oh, the water droplets act as a screen for the light that constantly move with the sphere. Wow, it's so pretty. I remember standing in front of it every day in my first year, just watching the ball moving and spinning until I understood how to build it. What? What? You can actually make that? Elise just stares at Aretha open-mouthed and bug-eyed. Look at that. Maybe if I had a pool that big in my house, ha 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 ha. Wow, you guys are like geniuses. We traverse the courtyard along with several other students who are scurrying to attend their morning classes. Some of them are giving Elise a curious look, but Elise is too excited by every magical thing in her surroundings to even notice them. As we're walking, Elise never stops admiring everything she sees, even the sight of a sophomore who fails miserably at flying a carriage and is now doing vertical loops in the air. Oh boy. He might be able to pass it off as a showy acrobatic move if he weren't screaming at the top of his lungs. Oh boy. Finally, we reach the conservatoire building entrance. We stop in front of a flight of stairs. So, meet back here at noon? Professor Poe wants me to teach the freshmen again this afternoon, so how about 3 o'clock? Alright, see you later. Elise, please watch Franz in my place. Make sure he doesn't do anything weird to the freshman girls. Oh god. She's always teasing him. Damn you, Aretha, stop training Elise. Huh. Okay. Oh, don't listen to her, Elise. I'm beginning to have doubts about them living together. Huh. She's gonna make her absolutely rotten, ain't she? Aretha climbs stairs while Elise and I head to the Magic Systems laboratories. As soon as we enter the lab, Elise's eyes sweep across the room, mystified by all kinds of laboratory equipment that must be unfamiliar to her. It takes her a few seconds to notice the old man sitting at the desk. Oh, Franz, good morning. Good morning, Professor. I'd like you to meet Elise. She's the girl I told you about the other day. Good morning, Professor. I'm Elise Shelley, Franz's research assistant. Elise, actually, we need the professor's approval before you can formally become my assistant. Oh, is that so? Ho ho ho, consider it approved. Nice to meet you, Miss Shelley. My name is Johann Poe. I am Franz's research advisor. Everyone calls me Professor Poe. Nice to meet you, Professor Poe. Miss Shelley, I've heard you tried to revive a broken piano. Is that right? Yes, that's right. Oh, that's very interesting. Professor Poe opens his desk drawer, produces a vial of mana potion, and hands it over to Elise. I would like to see your magic, if I may. Sure. After Elise receives the potion, Professor Poe grabs a piece of paper from his desk, tears it in half, and puts both torn pieces back on the top of his desk. AJ's like, I wish I had a hat like Professor Poe. AJ, I think I should start calling Zax my closest friend, 99. Oh my gosh. Do you think you can restore this paper to its original state? So he rips the piece of paper in half, gives her a magic potion to see if she can use compassion magic, which is something that's never been able to be used to heal or fix anything that doesn't have a life of its own. So this would be a miracle, basically, to even this professor if she could restore the torn piece of paper to its original state. Elise cocks her head in silence, her eyes glued to the two pieces of paper on the desk. I'll try. She takes the cap off the vial and gulps the potion down. As her right hand hovers a few inches above the paper with the palm facing down, she builds up compassion. Transform. Faint white light is emitted from her right hand. Amplify. So she's amplifying, transforming compassion, which is compassion magic. And Franz pauses. Professor Poe pauses. Ho ho ho! Well, why don't you start working officially enlisting Miss Shelley as your research assistant, Mr. Byron? Yes, that's the plan for today. I need to take Elise to the administration office to take care of the paperwork. I'll be back here later to get your signature. Sounds like a plan. Let's go, Elise. Okay. It never said if she, it didn't say if she fixed the piece of paper. Oh, there we go. The paper is still torn into two pieces, completely unaffected by Elise's magic. The spell didn't make the pieces even move. It didn't transform them in any way. Nothing happened. Absolutely nothing happened. Uh-oh. And I didn't even feel anything. It was just the usual revive I've seen countless times. Nothing at all abnormal about it. Uh-oh. We spend the whole morning doing paperwork. Normally the process is very quick if the assistant is also a conservatoire student, but because Elise is not a student, things become a bit more complicated. What complicates it even more is that Elise doesn't have any identification, which is hardly surprising given her circumstances, but the administrative assistant insists on following the protocol. We finally resolve the issue with Professor Poe's help. When we're done with the administration stuff, it's already lunchtime, so I take Elise to the cafeteria. I've always thought the prices here for are student-friendly, but apparently Elise thinks they're expensive. What can she possibly afford on her budget? Cat food? We go back to the laboratory after lunch. Have you taken care of everything? Yes, sir. Good. Welcome to the Magic Systems Laboratory, Miss Shelley. Ha ha ha. Yeah. Elisa's head is hung low, her eyes focused on the torn paper still on the desk. Oh, she feels bad that she couldn't repair the paper. AJ's like, I wonder what mana tastes like. My guess is it would taste like toothpaste and have a NyQuil aftertaste. That's probably a pretty good idea, AJ. Don't worry about this. I'm sure your magic will greatly assist our research. Isn't that right, Franz? Yes, Professor, definitely. Well, I have a meeting to attend outside the conservatory, so I shall take my leave. I'll leave the IMS class in your capable hands again, Franz. Remembering that I have to teach the freshmen again today, I take out my chronometer to check the time. It's just about to begin. Yes, Professor. No problem. Should I just wait here, or... Haha, why don't you join Franz? Perhaps you'll learn something that can help you figure out a way to fix that piano. But I'm not a student here. Well, but you're now officially Franz's assistant, aren't you? Franz is my assistant, so by extension, you're also my assistant. Oh, all right. Good. I'll see you both tomorrow. That's that. Well, let's get going. It's almost time for his class. Okay. I head to the classroom together with Elise. Franz, what are you going to teach? To be honest, I have no idea. The class is all about the basics of magic and casting, so I pretty much just wing the lectures. We haven't gotten into anything complicated yet. Oh. Is there anything you specifically want me to talk about? No, not really. Oh, but there is something else I want to ask you. Elise seems to have remembered something. Why is Professor Poe's room called Magic Systems Laboratory? I gaze at Elise as we walk side by side. Good idea. Huh? When we arrive at the classroom, I grab the door handle and open the door. Okay, so now we're in the role of Elise. We're looking at things from her POV or point of view. I follow... Excuse me. I follow Franz inside and close the door behind me. Franz moves to the front, facing the students, while I take a seat in the back. I can feel the students' eyes following me. They're probably wondering why there's a girl without a proper school uniform joining the class. I'm excited to be attending a lesson, but I'm also nervous because I feel like I'm not supposed to be here. Isn't that an actual problem? People buying cat food and making sandwiches with it because they can't afford real food? I don't know, AJ. I've never heard of that problem. Perhaps. In my experience, though, if humans were to eat cat food, not only would it taste like crap, but cat food, if you figure out the price per pound, it's probably more expensive than good meat or even steak. So yeah, I don't know that people would buy cat food. I think you could buy a lot of other human food a lot cheaper. It would probably taste a lot better. All right. So we have Elise feeling a little bit out of place, being a factory worker and not being from this kind of part of the rich side of town, the city, if you would. Back to Franz. Or no, we're still Elise looking at it from her point of view, but Franz is talking. Good afternoon, class. Professor Poe is absent again today, so I'm standing in for him. Again, lucky you. Last time we learned about one of the fundamentals of magical science, which is the magic formula. Today I'm going to talk about another important thing that happens to be closely related to magic machines. If you don't know what a magic machine is by now, I suggest you drop out of school because you are dangerously unobservant. They're everywhere, all around us. Now think about your average magic machine. There are some simple magic machines whose function is limited to just one magic spell. For example, your stove can only cast fire. However, many magic machines are much more complex, usually involving a combination or a series of different magic spells. Omnibuses, for example, can nullify gravity and then transform the movement of air. In this case, the magic of an omnibus can't be adequately described with just a magic formula, which is why there is another model that's a little more complex called a magic system. Hearing Franz say a magic system reminds me of Professor Poe's room, the magic system's laboratory. A magic system is formally defined as a combination or series of magic spells that act upon a set of inputs to produce one or more outputs. Be sure you write that down. So, going back to the omnibus, you could say that an omnibus machine is a magic system that takes the omnibus, the driver's willpower, and the driver's faith to create motion. In this case, there are three inputs: the omnibus, the willpower, and the faith, and one output: motion. Basically, anything that uses magic spells to process something into something else is a magic system. It doesn't even have to be a magic machine. For example, when Franz is thinking, his eyes meet mine. For example, the assembly line in a factory. To produce a chassis for a magic machine, first chunks of metal are deposited into a furnace, and then a factory worker melts the metal with fire. I was that factory worker. The liquefied metal is then transformed into a mold, and another worker turns the metal back into a solid by absorbing its heat using another spell. The result is our chassis part. And that other worker was Judy. It was done by two human magicians, but the process in a magic system that takes two inputs, metal chunks and courage, to produce an output, a chassis. Whoa, I've never knew that I was a component of a whole magic system. Now last time we learned about how we could use magic formula as a notation to describe magic spells. Now, how do we describe a magic system? What kind of notation do we use? Franz pauses, waiting for the students to stay quiet. Doesn't anyone know the answer to Franz's question? I certainly don't. I don't even know what a magic formula is. Okay, for this purpose, we have something called a magic system diagram. Of course, a magic system diagram to describe a magic system. I could have guessed that. Let me show you what it's like. Franz turns his back on the students and to face the blackboard and starts drawing something. Okay, this is the magic system diagram of a simple water dispenser. You can choose whether you want cold water or hot water, and the dispenser will dispense whatever water you choose. In a real machine, the choice may be represented by the position of a lever. What does that diagram mean? It makes no sense at all to me. Remember, we're looking at this from Elisa's point of view. Now, as you can see, when the machine is in cold mode, it summons water by using intelligence. So cold water, intelligence summon, hot or cold. Okay, so cold is here, hot is this way. Summons water by using intelligence, and then the heat is nullified from the water. Nullify the heat. Okay. We end up getting cold water as a result, right here. When it is in hot mode, our machine still summons water, but now the water is heated using fire, and we get hot water as a result. So hot, courage, either hot or cold, to turn that water from intelligence to summon hot or cold, depending on what we want there. Now that's how we describe a water dispenser as a magic system that takes intelligence and courage to produce hot water and to produce cold water. Huh. I'm still quite confused, but I think Franz's explanation helps a little. After that, Franz continues explaining about magic systems, but his explanation makes less and less sense to me the more he talks. This reminds me of that old Ji-sung, of what Ji-sung told me yesterday. The magicians in his homeland can cast more powerful magic spells, but Overturian scientists know better ways of using magic as well as practical applications of magic. There is more to magic than just casting spells. What Franz is teaching right now is the science of magic. Yep, and the bell rings. Well, that's the end of today's lesson. That went by pretty quick. I wish my school lessons back in school went by this quickly. Juan Martin, man, canned food is the best. Students shuffle out of the classroom, weariness evident on their faces. I guess I wasn't the only one who couldn't understand Franz's teaching. Magical science is sophisticated. After all the students have left, I rise from a chair and skip over to Franz. Thank you for the lesson, Mr. Byron. How did you like it? I'm baffled. Sounds about right, haha. Ha ha ha. We exit the classroom and head to the entrance where we're to meet up with Aretha. I'm still fascinated by everything in the school. This is the first time I've seen so much magic in just one place. I would love to take my time looking around, but Franz is walking pretty fast. Well, I understand that everything here is normal to him because he's been seeing this place every day for years. Now the entrance, near the entrance, we see Aretha already waiting for us, waving her hand energetically as soon as she spots us in the distance. Yahoo, Elise! Hi, Aretha. Yo, Aretha, what's up? Elise, it's time to go home. Let's go. Oh, wow. She's ready to go home. Take her to her new home. Now, Juan Martin, you say canned food is the best. Are you telling me that you eat canned cat food or dog food? Now, I understand you might like canned food like chili and tuna fish and soup or whatever, but yeah, we was talking earlier about canned cat food and canned dog food. Because there was something mentioned in here. The glow in Aretha's eyes is as bright as the glow of magic, lighting up her already bright smile. Calm down, Aretha, you'll scare her away. Elise, come on, let's go. You're even ignoring me now, huh? I'm starting to get jealous. Aretha sulks and turns her face away from Franz. Phew, man, they never pay attention to you when you're nice to them, but when you ignore them for 1 minute, they demand attention. Yeah, right. As if anyone could stop paying attention to someone as loud as you. They're squabbling again. Ha 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 ha! Again, I love her face. Every time I look at her face like that, it makes me laugh. Or at least smile. Ha ha ha. Just a few seconds ago, Aretha seemed to be upset at Franz, but now they're both laughing. These two have an interesting relationship. I'm gonna go back with Aretha now, okay? Oh, unless you want to spend another night with Franz, I wouldn't mind. No, I was just making sure. Ha ha ha. Little bit of advice to you, Elise. For the sake of sanity, don't take everything Aretha says seriously. Let's go, Elise. Okay. Bye, Franz. What do you mean, bye, Franz? We'll be taking the same omnibus. Aretha takes my hand and leads me out of the school building. Bye, Franz. Oh. She's got her own carriage or what? Oh no. Franz, Aretha, and I sit together on an omnibus, having small talks along the journey. We talk about everything from Franz and Aretha's activities in school to my work at the factory. Occasionally, Franz and Aretha would tease each other too, which I now understand to be their way of just having fun. I used to think about the Buggy despise us pearls, but maybe that's not how it is. It's just that there is a social barrier that is preventing the two groups from communicating. For some reason, Franz, Aretha, and I are able to get past this barrier. And the reason is probably my magic, because that's the common ground between me trying to fix the piano and Franz's research. Without my magic, I'll be living back at the Maison, if not on the street. Magic has saved me here. This must be the purpose of magic. This must be why this world has magic, why the world needs magic. Magic gives us hope. Magic is hope. Okay, this is my stop. Franz rises from his seat. Goodbye, girls. Bye, Franz. Bye, Franz. After the omnibus takes off again, I talk to Aretha. You and Franz are really close, almost like a couple. Yeah, we get that a lot, but we aren't a couple. You totally suit each other. Do we? I'm not too sure about that. We're best friends, but I don't think a romance would work out for us. Besides, sometimes when you're really close to someone, going into a romantic relationship with them would just feel like a downgrade. Do you know what I mean? Not really. Ha 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 ha. Have you known him long? Is he your childhood friend? Is high school still childhood? Then yeah. Franz and I met at a conservatoire event in our freshman year. I was hanging out with some of my girlfriends when I noticed Franz standing all alone. I thought he was shy or didn't have any friends, so I went over to talk to him. Turned out he just found the event incredibly boring and couldn't wait to go home. He's such a sourpuss, ha ha ha. Franz has always been like that. It's not like he doesn't have any friends, but he isn't close to people. I see. That's why I was surprised to find you at his apartment this morning. So that's how it is. Now that I think about it, I didn't see Franz chatting with other students of the school. Maybe Aretha is letting me live with her because I am one of Franz's new friends. Probably. Wait, am I even his friend? We only just got acquainted with each other because of his research. Look, we've arrived. Oh, Franz doesn't live very far from here. Nope, he's only one stop away. I follow Aretha off the omnibus. Unlike Franz, Aretha lives in a house. It's nowhere near as high class as Frederick's house, but still luxurious compared to anything you can find in the slums. Welcome back, Montague. I used to think all the bourgeois are rich, but there are social classes even among them. It's not as obvious as the difference between the bourgeois and the pearls. Or bourgeois, I think it's bourgeois. To us pearls, though, these people are so far above us that it's hard for us to see any difference between them. The first thing I notice as I enter Aretha's house is the counter and the row of seats lining up against the wall. It strikes me as odd. How many people live here that you need a whole row of seats? A door opens and a woman emerges from inside a room. Uh-oh. The woman looks like her mom? Could that be her mom? Welcome home, Aretha. Are you bringing a friend over? Oh, yep, it's her mom. Hi, Mom. This is Elise. Good evening, ma'am. My name is Elise Shelley. Alanis. Elise Shelley? It's my pleasure to meet you, Elise. My name is Alanis Blyton. My patients usually call me Dr. Blyton, but you can call me Alanis. Alanis has a warm smile. She's very composed, unlike Aretha, who is constantly beaming with energy. Oh, it's my pleasure to meet you, too, Elise. Alanis. Are you a doctor? Yes, I am, though most likely not the kind of doctor you have in mind. Huh? Don't all doctors heal patients' wounds and cure diseases? No, not all of them. My healing isn't done with magic. She smiled softly with a mysterious glimmer in her eyes. I heal people's minds. I'm known as a psychiatrist. A psychiatrist? Elise, do you know about magic systems? I just learned about them a couple of hours ago, actually. Yes, kind of. What do you think would happen to a system if one of its components broke? I know this one. If it happened in my chassis machine, I know the whole system would stop functioning. Well, that's not always... Never mind, that's what Aretha said. Aretha wanted to say that some machines are equipped with a failsafe that keeps the most important functionality working, even if in the event of a failure. But yes, generally speaking, Elise, you are correct. Alright, the system would not be working as intended if a component failed. A human being is also a system, and that system starts with a mind. So when the mind breaks down, we have to do something about it. We study magic as a science, and science is rational, but as long as there is human element in magic, it will never be completely rational, because humans are irrational. Boy, isn't that the truth? So magic is always completely rational. It makes sense. It uses logic, but humans are the ones that are irrational. You know, or where emotions and stuff like that come into play. You wouldn't ever see emotions come into play in some kind of mathematical formula, for example. In order to fully understand magic, we must understand the human mind. And so you study the human mind? That is correct. Wow, this is interesting. We both fell silent as I tried to grasp the meaning of Alanis' explanation. Aretha breaks the silence after a while. Mom, Elise doesn't have a home. Can I keep her, please? Look at how she's saying to her mom, can I keep Elise here? It's almost like she's asking if she can have a pet or a dog or something. That's kind of funny. Kind of cute. I feel the way Aretha talks. It feels like I'm a stray cat. Didn't I just say that? It feels like I'm a stray cat that she found on the street. She's cute. So the funny thing is here, guys, I have never read this. I have never got this far in the game. I read it 2 years ago, but I only got to about halfway through what we read on Friday. So all this stuff is new to me. Doesn't have a home? And that explains my circumstances to her mom. Ha 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 ha. Hearing her daughter's explanation, Alanis breaks into laughter, losing the cool composure she's been keeping up until now. Ha ha. Oh, I'm sorry. Elise, I think you, of all people, should understand exactly what I was saying about what I was talking about rationally. Wait a minute. Elise, I think you, of all people, should understand exactly what I was saying about irrationality. Oh, wow. Huh? Trying to revive a broken piano? You realize all that science that we know to this day doesn't agree with that line of reasoning at all, right? Because compassion magic can't heal objects. But that is exactly why the human mind is interesting. Humanity never stands still because there are always people like you who aren't afraid to challenge common sense. Huh. Wow, she's kind of insulting her here, is she not? Sounds like she's throwing some insults to this girl. That's what it feels like. Lisa's like, huh? Anyway, we happen to have a spare bedroom, so I personally would be happy to take you into our room. Welcome home, Elise Shelley. Thank you very much. Yay! Aretha. I won't live here as a freeloader. As a research assistant, I get salary from the school, so I'll pay for my living expenses. Lana says, I wish my daughter would say something like that. That's funny. But I don't have an income yet, Aretha says. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. Aretha, why don't you show Elise to her room? Okie dokie. And Aretha shows me to her room. Ta-da! Here it is. The room isn't that big, but is 100 times more hospitable than the Maison's attic. Its floor is sparkling white, and the bed looks very cozy, unlike the bed in my old room. It's marginally more comfortable than the floor. Wow, this is really nice. Hehehe. Why don't you take a rest for a few minutes? I'll call you when the time is right for dinner. Aretha? Yeah? I haven't seen your dad. Is he still at work? Uh-oh. Ha ha ha. I don't have a dad. Oh? I'm sorry. Don't be. My mom always told me that my father left shortly after I was born. That's why I don't have a dad. I see. So it's not because her dad died. That means Aretha and I were both abandoned by our fathers. That makes me feel closer to her somehow. Well, I can see how that would make her feel closer. They got something big in common in the past. Well, do take some time to wind down. If you want to take a shower, there's a towel in the wardrobe. But you need mana to turn on the shower. Oh, it's okay. I drank a potion at the laboratory this morning. Okay, you should be all set. Then I'll talk to you later. I sit on the bed and stare out of the window. I try to relax like Aretha told me, but my mind keeps wandering about. I remember visiting the school for the first time today, seeing its many enchanting magic machines. I think about casting my magic on the torn paper, and I wonder if it could be useful for Franz's research. I remember studying in the class for the first time, listening to Franz talk about the magic systems, even though more than half of me knew what he was talking about, it went completely over my head. I think about Aretha and her mom, and what her mom told me. Magic, even as science, isn't completely rational because humans are irrational. A little bit later, Aretha calls for me for dinner. Aretha, Alanis, and I have a long conversation over dinner, mostly about my life before I met Franz. Also, I tell them about how I was abandoned by my parents, yet her parents just left her. Hearing my story almost drives Aretha to tears. Aww. Whereas Alanis seems to be practically interested, asking me questions about my family. Aretha and I go back to my room after dinner and chat for hours until Alanis comes in and tells us that we need to go to bed. And I close my eyes and can't wait for sleep to come. I realize that today is the first time in so many years that I can sleep in a nice bed like this. Hey Fire Kirby, how you doing, bud? It's funny, yesterday I thought I'd spend the night sleeping on a street somewhere. 2 days ago, I thought that my 16th birthday would be my first day as a prostitute. But then, as the son of a lord took me for a prostitute, I got mad and ran away and decided never to go back to that place. Never decided to go back to Maison D before. It's strange, but somehow my life got better because he treated me like the kind of girl I thought I would have to become. It makes me wonder, is Frederick really as bad as the lords who visit the Maison every night? Probably. He only thought I worked at the Maison day before because he had seen me there. I guess it's reasonable to assume that any young girl seen near the Maison is a prostitute. Do I hate Frederick? Wow. Do we hate Frederick, guys? How you doing, Fire Kirby? You're doing good. How about me? I am doing well, my man. I'm doing well here. All right, question here, guys. Do we hate Frederick? Remember, Frederick did kind of use Franz to set him up to go get magical research funding at the whorehouse, basically, at the brothel, as a joke. And then he wanted to show off his magic in front of Elise. So he set Franz up to bring Elise to his house the next day, and then all he wanted was to get a little bit of time alone with her. And then as soon as he had Franz out of the room, he basically said, "All right, service me." He's like basically telling Elise to give him sex, and that sent Elise running and storming out of the house. So that's really what she knows about Lord Frederick. Do we hate him or do we not hate him? What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Do we hate him or not? Can't say that we like what he did, but I don't know that we would hate him yet, would we? Now, maybe if he had, instead of saying, "Hey, service me," and then let her leave, now if he had done anything forcefully or tried to rape Elise, then that would be different. But just for being an asshole that night, I don't really think we should hate him, do we? Do you guys? I don't know. Let's say we don't hate Frederick. Nobody's answered yet, so I'm just going to say we don't hate Frederick. Elise seems like a nice girl. I think it would be pretty hard for her to hate somebody. Frederick was wrong for assuming that I was a whore, and for asking me to, but I can't say that I hate him. The next time I see him, I'll just talk to him and explain that while it's true that I used to live at the Maison, I've never actually worked there. I'm sure he'll understand. Okay. So she's sleeping now, I think? Now whose point of view are we going to? Well, we're going to Fire Day, the 29th of Sextilis. I think this is Tuesday? Maybe? Alright, now we're going back to Lord Frederick. Stupid, stupid, stupid. I can't believe what a dolt I am. What the hell was I saying? Service me, Elise? Yep, that's what you said, dude. What in the bloody hell was that? What was I thinking? I should have just had myself flogged. I'm such a fool. So he's even mad at himself for telling Elise to service me. But he did do it. I knew that Elise had gone to the Maison, but I didn't ask Franz to bring her here for that. I could have gone anytime if that were the case. I only really wanted to see her. I wanted to get to know her. Elise even tried to explain to me why she had been at the Maison, but I wouldn't listen. Perhaps she isn't that kind of girl after all. No, in fact, she can't be that kind of girl. I bet she totally despises me now. What was it that made me lose my mind in that instant? Hormones? Maybe? I know, it was her music. Her piano was so beautiful, so captivating, that at the moment I simply lost myself. I wanted her to belong only to me. I wished to actually own her, to own her body, mind, and soul. Wow, this guy sounds like he's going to be a good guy, huh? You like those possessive kind of men that think they own their girlfriend or own their wives. I desired her. So, didn't I just say a couple minutes ago that hormones were what caused him to say that? He desired her. Yep, hormones. She was every bit as heavenly as I had imagined her to be. Elise. My lord, are you listening? Elise. Lord Frederick. This is his dad, probably. I opened my eyes to the sight of my private tutor's unshapely face a foot away from mine, his too thick eyebrows contorted above his too fleshy nose. Elise's beautiful face returns as soon as I close my eyes again. There, that's better. And the tutor's like, Lord Frederick. What? It takes an incredible self-control not to break this man's nose in that very instant. So now he wants to smash his tutor's nose because he's busy daydreaming about Elise. And his tutor comes over to obviously give him tutoring. He backs away and sits down on a chair across from me. I'm sorry, my lord, but you haven't been responding to my questions. I was checking to see if you had fallen asleep. I wish I had, you bulbous frog of a man. Oh boy. Aristocrats are too important to be allowed to attend public schools. Therefore, every morning a series of tutors comes to our house to teach me privately. As I was saying, because magicians unleash magic from their hands, arm exercises have been known to improve magicians' ability to cast stronger magic spells. They build the arm's physical endurance to withstand. Right now I'm supposed to be studying practical magic, a subject that I normally enjoy, but because it isn't boring like magical science and its endless theories. Unfortunately, today I'm just not in the mood for anything, to study anything. My mind just keeps going back to Elise. What should I do now? What will I say the next time? Will I even see her again? I heard she ended up being Franz's research assistant, so maybe I have a chance to meet her again. Maybe I could just go to the conservatoire and to pretend to look at Franz. But what would I be looking for him for? Why would the great Lord Frederick Godwin need to meet with a simple student? See, this is what I'm talking about. He thinks he's almighty over Franz and over everybody else just because he's a lord. What would the great Lord Frederick Godwin need to meet with a simple student? His research project is the obvious answer, but no, that would be just too strange. I don't even understand the damn project in the first place. Besides, I have nothing to do with the project, and my dispassion for compassion is legendary. And even if I could see Elise, what would I even say to her? Hi Elise, how you doing? She would scream that I was a pervert. Either that or she would just simply ignore me. She's going to see Franz. What a waste of my time. There's no tricking my way into a confrontation here. There is only hope that one can make amends. I've got to apologize to Elise. I must tell her that I'm sorry. But how? How do I apologize to her if I don't even know how to meet her again? Which is why Professor Sorcerer plays incorporate physical exercises in addition to the magic we practice and their training. Hey Ryan, what's up, dude? Furthermore, wait, what did you say? I beg your pardon? Please repeat what you just told me, that exact sentence. Many Professor Sorcerer players incorporate. That's it, you're a damn genius. I rise up from my chair with my finger pointed at my tutor's face. I raise from my chair and point my finger at my tutor's fat, pockmarked nose. That's freaking rude. What? By the way, please mind your language, my lord. Your father would be angry if he heard that. That's it, sorcerer. Ha 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 ha. My lord? Ha 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 ha. My lord, is something wrong? On contrary, something is right. So, when is my next sorcerer match? It would be tomorrow evening, my lord. Oh wow, we get another sorcerer match coming up. Make it this evening, please. What? I'm going out. You work on rescheduling my match. I rush out of the room without waiting for a reply. He's assuming quite a lot there, isn't he? My lord, there's still an hour before you can leave for your break, and you can't just reschedule your match like that. What about your opponents? I usually have one of our chauffeurs drive me around town, but before I realize I'm already outside my house, I just flag down a taxi carriage. Can you take me to the conservatory overture? How you doing, Ryan? What's up, my bud? Once I've arrived at the conservatoire, I quickly head to the main building, ignoring the gates of students who are probably curious to see someone not spoiled, or someone not wearing a student uniform. Now I just have to look like Franz. Elise is sure to be with him. So he wants to apologize to Elise. Where am I supposed to start looking? I forgot how big the conservatoire is. Must I check every room on every floor? I walk around randomly, inspecting the faces of every male student in the vicinity. Sometimes I open a door to see the confused faces of the students in a class before closing it again. Wow, he's just rude, just barging in on classes and everything. I'm starting to get tired. I've been doing this for a full 10 minutes. Oh my god. 10 minutes and he's already tired? I stride over to a group of students. You there, do any of you know a Franz Blyton? Franz Blyton? I don't think so. Nope, never heard of him. His name sounds familiar, but I don't remember where I've heard it. They're not helping. So I find another student. Franz Byron? Oh yeah, he's that famous student from the Department of Magical Science. Where can you find him? I'm sorry, I don't personally know him. And another. Franz Byron? Isn't he that student who keeps doing research? Professor Poe? Maybe you can find him if you look for Professor Poe. These peasants, just give me a simple freaking answer. I spend the next 10 minutes asking for Franz, but no one seems to know exactly who he is or where he is. Doesn't this dolt have any friends? Finally, I find a girl who seems to know Franz. Franz? Yes, I know Franz. What are you looking for him? Could you perhaps be Frederick Godwin? Yep, that's what the girl's asking. How did you know me? Franz told me that his research is being funded by Lord Godwin. Thanks to his Lord's son's, Frederick. Whoa, he does have a friend. Do you know where I can find him? I don't think he has any classes right now, so he must be at Magic Systems Laboratory. He's always there when he doesn't have any classes. And where do I find his Magic Something's laboratory? Ha 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 ha, how about I show it to you? Good, let's go. Oh, by the way, my name is Aretha Blyton. Nice to meet you, Frederick. Oh boy. It's Lord Frederick, woman, not just Frederick. It's nice to meet you too, let's go. Okay, this way. I follow the girl to the laboratory where Franz is said to be. The occasion of my first visit to the laboratory is marked by a curious sight of Elise casting heal on a chipped mushroom, or a chipped ceramic cup. Mushroom? Where did I get mushroom at? Okay. So the occasion of my first visit to a laboratory is marked by the curious sight of Elise casting heal on a chipped ceramic cup, next to which Franz is standing with some kind of measuring tool in his hands. AJ, I'm a level 46 wizard. What are you, Zax? I'm guessing you're level 16 archer? I'm a level 9 warrior, AJ. I'm not level 16. Yeah. Franz! Hey, Franz. Hey, Elise. Hey, why are you here? Hi, Aretha. Elise seems to have noticed me, and then Franz does too. Yeah, you think that might be noticing you? Look at that face. Oh, Frederick, hello. As expected, Elise still doesn't want to talk to me. She doesn't even look me in my eyes. How's the research going? Franz holds the ceramic cup in front of his face and inspects it. Still working on it. Okay. Elise is casting her eyes sideways, still avoiding me. I can't say I blame her much after the way he treated her and what he asked her. This is awkward. No use. I speak to Franz instead. I want to invite you to my sorcerer match this evening. A sorcerer match? You play sorcerer? Yes, of course I play sorcerer. I'm the best player in Overture. Huh. Whoa, I've never even watched a sorcerer match. Elise timidly glances at me, briefly opens her mouth, but then looks away again. So, hey Elise, do you know sorcerer? No. I see. She was going to ask what sorcerer is. It's a magical sport. It's very interesting. I would be delighted if all you could come and watch my match. Can I come too? Wow, well, thanks. But this evening, huh? It's so sudden. I haven't even told my mom. You don't have afternoon classes today, do you? You could just go home earlier and tell her I can take Elise to the stadium. Very good. I'll see you there. Okay. Aretha's like, okay. Elise still isn't comfortable talking to me, so I don't see any point in hanging around here. I should just be more amiable after the sorcerer match. AJ says that's a really nice coat, Frederick. Has a man would kill for that coat. What's wrong with Elise? Elise was asked by Frederick. You don't remember, AJ? I don't know if you were there. Frederick had got her to his house, had Franz bring her to his house to meet her, acting like he wanted to see her pull this magic stuff on using compassion magic to heal the broken piano. But instead, when Franz brought her to his house, he kind of awkwardly asked to see her alone or put himself in a room alone with her, and then basically told her immediately, "Service me, Elise." So basically, he asked her to fuck him, basically. So yeah, it's kind of harsh. He's like, "Service me, Elise." Well, if you'll excuse me, I have to make preparations for tonight's battle. Wait. So she finally says something to him. Yes? Can I talk to you for a minute outside? What's this? Why does she want to talk to me? Is she going to say that she won't come to the sorcerer match? That's what she's going to say, isn't it? Does she hate me that much? Yes, of course. Okay. That's how you die of embarrassment? Yeah, I think she did. I think it said that her cheeks flushed like 8 shades of red. So she gets him alone. Let's hope that Frederick doesn't ask her to service him again. They both pause, look at each other. We're now outside the laboratory, but Elise still hasn't said anything. I don't know whether I should speak first or not. I'm afraid I will not even make her. I'm afraid I'll even make her angrier. No, a lord must be a gentleman in all instances. This here is my chance. I have to just apologize to her. Elise, Frederick, it's true that I used to live at the Maison de before. Huh? But I never worked there. I only stayed there because I didn't have any place to live. Madame Bavor was going to make me work as soon as I turned 16, but I've run away. I don't live in the Maison anymore. You don't live at the Maison anymore? Yeah, I now live with Aretha and her mom. I remember that Aretha is that girl who took me to Franz's laboratory. Oh, I see. Well, I'm very sorry. I apologize for what happened 2 days ago. That was simply unexcusable. Okay. Did she just say okay? Does that mean okay then? Is she actually forgiven me or agreeing with me? Will you forgive me? Yeah. What, really? Yeah. Thank you, Elise. Wow, he's surprised. Good luck on your match. Elise disappears into the laboratory before I can say anything more. But this means, she has forgiven me, right? I mean, this is really great. I feel like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. Oh, okay. I leave the conservatoire and take a taxi carriage to the Sorcerer Stadium. Evening comes and it's time for my match. Alright guys, with that, we are going to start things off tomorrow night on LiveStream Under the Moonshine, number 181, with Lord Frederick's second Sorcerer match. Should be interesting on that. I want to try to keep these things much shorter than I did last Friday night. So I think right here is a good spot to go ahead and stop about an hour and 20 minutes into this live stream. So we're going to go ahead and save where we've left off, guys. And we will continue this tomorrow, guys. AJ's like, no! I think AJ likes this story. Yeah, AJ, he asked her to service him. Yeah, that was pretty wild. So if you haven't caught all of that, AJ, you might want to go back and catch part 3. It was like 2.5 hours long, but so far, I would say part 3 was the most interesting one so far. But I did like part 1 as well, where he had that first Sorcerer match. So I'm pretty excited to see what happens when he plays this next Sorcerer match. So we will continue that tomorrow night, guys. Guys, I am exhausted today. I've had a long day, so I want to go ahead and thank you guys for being here and tuning in to part 4 of An Octave Higher. And we will continue this tomorrow night, guys, on part 5 and LiveStream Under the Moonshine number 181. Guys, thanks so much for being here. You guys rock. I'm glad you guys are enjoying this. It really sounds like AJ's enjoying it, and hopefully you guys are as well. If you missed any part of this, you can go back and watch whatever you missed. It should be done processing here in just a little bit. AJ says, this is my favorite visual novel Zach's has done. Yeah, I've done quite a few of them, haven't I, AJ? This is my favorite one. Yeah, I mean, it seems like a really good one. I don't know. I've had quite a few that I've really liked quite a bit. So, all right, guys, thanks so much for being here. You guys have a good night. Sleep well, and we'll see you guys tomorrow night for part 5 of An Octave Higher. You guys have a good one. We'll see you soon. Peace, everybody.